I'm Taryn Lupo from TarynLupo.com, and stick with me because I'm going to take you to the Mustang Maze. The Mustang Maze is located in Greenfield, New Hampshire. It's kind of off the beaten path. You go through the woods and dirt road, but it's a beautiful drive because the leaves are changing. It's mid-October when the event's held. Eventually you arrive at a sign for the Tenders Mustang Foundation, which is actually held on a private farm. You enter through a check-in area hosted by some very nice people, and then they direct you over to the maze and the other areas. The farm looks like it's off a postcard. Just look at the colors and the scenery in the background. So, you get suited up, go to the maze, and check it out. There's some signs. And what they do is they actually line up corn in rows and mix it in with horse fencing because there's horses actually in the maze. One thing I have to apologize for before we start is some of the interviews get kind of windy and there's really not much I can do about that.
Okay, well, hello there and welcome. Now, this is a learning maze. It's all about Mustangs. There are 5 stations. At each station you learn about the Mustang, care and feeding, anatomy, history, and it's also fun. So you learn a little, get 5 stickers. At the end, if you can find your way out, you get a prize.
The maze was actually a little more difficult than I thought it would be. I got lost in a couple parts, I have to admit. But it was really fun. So you go through this area and the maze is busted out into 5 different stations, and eventually you arrive at the station and learn something about the Mustangs.
Okay, so we're going to tell you a little bit about Ishta. She's 8 years old. She is what they call a Grula Mustang because of her coloring. Her coloring is usually going to be either a slate blue, that's what they come in, or a mousy brown. She is, let's see, what do I want to say about her? We call her Houdini here because she can go through all of the fences. She's a wonderful, wonderful teacher. That's what Mustangs are. They're wonderful teachers. All horses are. The good thing about Mustangs is that they have, if you notice, a shorter back. It's more of a square, they have more of a square build. They have a sturdier bone structure. They don't really have withers much, so that's the kind of bony prominence that would be above the shoulder. Now, when they're this square, it's much better for their sort of overall, back health. So usually their chests are a little bit wider, so their legs can be right underneath their chest. Sometimes you'll see more of the horses that are more longer, just sort of like designer dogs. We design them into other, further and further away from their original structure, you might say. Okay. Ready?
Here it comes.
We left a bag of apples, a whole bag of apples, outside of the gate one day, and Sue and I went in and were working with the other horses. And when we came back, Ishta had gotten through the fence and ate the whole bag.
Oh, yes! I was going to say, I got some. I got another one if he wants. And an apple. After meeting those nice folks and equines, I headed through the maze some more. And it was kind of nice. It had these flowers everywhere. It was really well decorated. These guys put a lot of work into this.
You did it! Yay!
Yeah!
So this is the brand station, and this tells you what the brands, they all get a freeze brand on their neck, on the left side of their neck. And so this stands for US registered. The next symbol represents what their date of birth is, year of birth. So in this case, not him, but the example shows 77 because of the 2 B's. The next two are the state where he was registered, not necessarily rounded up, but registered. And then these represent his number. And so anybody who adopts a Mustang, they can go online and look up with the Mustang, where more information about the Mustang that they've adopted. So Tenders Mustang Foundation, they chose the alpha angle letters and symbols to represent what their code stands for, and the numbers or the letters and the symbols all add up to the number 21. So they wanted to choose something that was significant to all of us. What does the number 21 mean to all of us? And the 21 also represents 1776, when we won our independence. And we added up, if you add up the numbers in 1776, it adds up to 21. He went up to Maine when he was first adopted, and his training didn't work out. So someone bought him and then brought him to horse tenders for training, and he was adopted by one of the volunteers, and then he's gone back to school, so he's returned him back to horse tenders.
Ride my way through here. I finally found my way to the third station, which was all about Mustang anatomy. Now I do have to apologize, it got pretty windy during this interview, but stick with it, you'll learn a lot.
So this is Tavern, and he was spray painted this morning to show that the front part is sort of the steering part of the horse, and then the middle part, his green part, is his back and his barrel, and then the back part is the power engine. That's sort of the power part of the horse, and then there of course are many individual parts of the horse.
It got so windy I had to take over this spot here, so I'm going to take you through the legs. So behind the hoof, that little indentation is called the pastern. The little bump of bone above that's called the fetlock. Their shin bone's called the cannon. And the backside of the knee there is called the hock. Then we start moving back into the hind quarters and the tail region. The top of the rump's called the croup. And you can see his tail, how that comes out there too. In the green section is the flank. That's the side part of the horse. And then the top part where you sit is called the back.
Part of his mane, you see a little bump, and those are his withers. And that's actually, I learned today, how you determine the height of the horse, by measuring from the withers. And then the mane is the hair, and the area under the mane is actually called the crest. And then his little bangs, the bangs on the horse, are called the forelocks. And then his muzzle is his area above his nostrils. And then moving down to his chest is obviously in front of him, the front part of the horse, his chest. And then moving down to his front legs, the front part of the legs is called the cannon bone. So those are the body parts of Tavern.
I made my way to the next station, which talks about how to care for a Mustang. Now, these guys are pretty hardy in the wild. They can kind of search their own food out and do pretty good. But when they're in captivity, they do need a lot more care. This sign tells you more. This whole thing was quite a production. And there were volunteers everywhere. It looked like it was really well run though. And at the last station before the exit of the maze, I found this sign that tells you a lot more about the organization. After I finished the maze, I headed over to another area where people were showing horses that they had rescued from this program. So I decided to ask a couple people about their experience.
He was ready to go. I mean, he was trained, ready to ride. He could lead, he could back, he could just do everything that any horse you want a horse to do, and And for us, it was wonderful. We had a horse at home that was not happy by himself, and now he's just, they're good buddies.
How's your experience with the whole adoption process? How's it work?
Oh, it was wonderful. We came here. We got to see them. We came a few times. We came and did the farm tour. They have a farm tour, and they helped us find him. He's just perfect. We say that he picked her because he really just he loved her.
So I wandered around and met a few more of the rescue horses. There were some really different colors, which I was surprised at. I didn't realize Mustangs come in so many different colors and patterns. They're really beautiful horses. Eventually, I got drawn in by all the autumn displays and talked to some more rescuers.
I'm still in love with this guy. We're buds.
So it worked. Last year, you're one of the
Yeah.
success stories.
So we just brought him back just to say hi for the weekend.
How do you like your experience as far as adopting out of here?
It's great. It's really great. You really know what you're getting. You know that you're getting quality. The horses are wonderful, actually.
You could also buy swag and help out the horse tenders. They had some t-shirts and all kinds of things. Besides meeting all the horses, there was also stuff for kids to do. They were practicing their roping. There was also a grooming station, so kids could learn how to groom properly. Of course, I tried to sneak in and I got busted.
Height required.
What?
This.
I know. I am sorry. Yes, you could pat.
Well,
She is kind of adorable. Yeah.
There was also lots of information about Mustangs and more swag around, as well as a bunch of homemade food. So if you're hungry, you can just eat there. They also had an author doing a book signing and a branding station, which of course I had to go get branded.
This is the U.S. registration, and this is the year for the horse that they were born. So in our case, it would be your birth year, and then your birth month, and your birthday. The U.S. registration first, and the year you were born.
73.
Okay, and take a look at my cheat sheet. And the month.
October.
And the day.
The 1st.
There you go. Your own personal mark.
Branded.
Yes.
Can't get it the right way. There we go. I ended my day meeting a local celebrity named Remington.
I give him some food. He's one of the Mustangs here on the farm. He's actually the chief of all these guys here. So he's the head of the whole herd. He was captured in 2004. He was born out in the wild. And then he was rounded up in 2007 at the age of 3. And went through one of those 100-day training competitions and was adopted out, and then went through a series of trainers that didn't work out too well for him. So he's a bit of a strong personality guy, and was handled pretty rough. So the rougher he's handled, the kind of more aggressive he acts back. So he ended up putting a couple trainers and horses in the hospital, and ended up getting passed along to us. But now he's a lovely, gentle giant. If you get all 5 stamps in your booklet from all 5 stations in the maze, you end up getting a little prize here, which is a poster of Remington. We actually scanned his hoof print, so it's a signed and autographed poster from Remington himself. So since you made it through, it's got a picture of him, and on the back it's got a little bit of his bio. He was born out in the wild, 2004, captured Wheeler Pass, 2007, a bit about his history and how he came about to the farm. So there you go. Thanks. Congratulations on making it through the farm.
This was a completely unique experience, which probably doesn't happen anywhere else. So if you're there around October, stop by. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel. Also, give this a thumbs up, a like, a share, or if you have something to add, remember to comment below. Thanks. Also, don't forget to stop by terranlupo.com. I have up videos that you can't see anywhere else. Currently, I have one on carnivorous plants and also how to make your own mead. All you have to do is go over and